If you've ever thought, I'm not a teacher, how am I supposed to help my struggling reader? I want you to know that thought is so common, and it's just not true. You do not need a teaching degree. You just need the first right step. Because guess what? You don't need to understand all of the nuances of the English language and every single phonics pattern to teach your child to read. Most of the parents that I work with say the same thing. Once they figure out what their child is missing and implement a simple daily routine, they can see massive progress. So if you don't know me, hi, I'm Becca Pratt. I own Literacy Evolution, and over the past 14 years, I've helped hundreds and hundreds of kids learn to read. And just as importantly, I've helped parents like you feel confident supporting and teaching struggling readers at home. And I know it can feel super overwhelming, especially when your child's school isn't giving you clear answers. And that is why I'm on a mission to make reading support simple, doable, and effective. You don't need fancy programs or any pressure. So first, to figure out where to start with a struggling reader, I always check if they know most of their letter names and sounds. Because if your child can't tell you that M spells or S spells S, blending's not going to work. So here's what it's looked like for me and my students in action. So I show them a few letter cards and I ask, what does this letter spell? What does this letter spell? And I put the ones they know in one pile, the ones they don't yet know in another pile. That gives me my first area of focus to work on with a child. Or I hide the letters around the room for those really active kids who like to move and wiggle, and their job is to collect all the letters and tell me the name and the sound. And if they miss a lot, that's where we're going to start. Just that letter sound practice. No pressure to blend yet. The second step, I check if they can blend sounds together orally. So I'll say, what word do you hear when I say d, og, dog? What about ch, ip, chip, slap? And it's just listening, it's not reading yet. So if they can't blend it orally, that means that we need to build up that skill with games and with lots of practice before we expect them to be reading a book independently. Now, this is the hidden skill of reading that most of my tutoring clients need to strengthen before they become proficient readers. The third step, I check if they can read a simple nonsense word. And a nonsense word is just a made-up word that follows real spelling rules. So I have different nonsense words that align with different spelling rules. So let me show you. I always start with CVC or consonant vowel consonant words. And again, all made up, but this is a great knowledge check to see if they know how to decode proficiently. And if they are accurate with the CVC words, I move on to more complex words like these. And finally, I would move them to silent E words if they could sound out the others easily. If they can't, if they get stuck, then I stop. So I'm going to keep going until I find that I'm stuck point for the child. If they guess, if they freeze, it tells me that they're probably memorizing words and not actually decoding. And that's a huge aha moment for a lot of parents. So I know if they can't decode CVC nonsense words, that's exactly the type of words that I'm going to focus on with them. So if you are not sure where to start with your struggling reader, this is it. Check letter sounds. Try aura blending and see if they can decode a nonsense word. And if you want help walking through those steps, I have got a free checklist and decoding game that I use in my tutoring sessions. Just drop start below and I'll send it over.